Hello, it's my birthday next week, but I'm away for the whole week doing a sailing competition. So I decided to open my present, kind of from myself and my family, this week instead. And that's what I'm going to be showing you now. A couple of videos ago, I mentioned that I was interested in doing more abstract art, and I came across a few people using oil sticks. I have seen them in the past, but never taken that much notice of them, because I wasn't really interested in oil much. But having played a little bit with the water mixable oils and realising that I quite liked oils, and knowing that I absolutely love oil pastels, I thought this might be an interesting thing to try out. So I've got a few things first of all from Jackson's. As usual, when I get a new idea in my head, I do tons and tons and tons of research on it and look up everything I can find on it. And it seemed that the smoothest and softest oil sticks are made by a company called R&F. They are hideously expensive though, especially when you buy them individually. So I picked out this one set of what I thought would be good landscape colours. And then a little pack of their half sticks as well, in a couple of kind of brighter, fun colours. I'll show you everything I've got first, and then I'll go into what oil sticks are in more detail later. So I also got what's called a blending stick. And this is basically the medium which pigment is mixed with to make oil sticks. So this is kind of like an extender for the oil stick colour. And then because oil sticks do operate very much like oil paints, I got some Gamsol, which can dilute and clean the oil stick colour. And then I also got a package of Khadi papers. I got loose sheets in A5 size, and I primarily bought these to go with my new press machine for working with lino cuts. I was also curious to try out oil sticks from another company. These are from Curtis Ward. It's the cheapest place I could find them. These are the same principle as the R&F Pigment sticks, but my understanding is that the Sennelier ones aren't as soft as the R&F ones are, but I'll have a play with those in a little bit. These are significantly cheaper than the R&F ones though. To buy the open stock ones like this, they're about a quarter of the price. And while I was researching everything, I also came across these oil bars from Winsor & Newton. I don't think these are produced anymore, and I think they're possibly harder still than the Sennelier ones. From videos I've seen of them, they seem kind of stodgier, but I was curious to find out how they compared, and I found these ones secondhand on eBay at a really good price. And I also have this Winsor & Newton oil pad. I think the oil in oil sticks and oil paint can over time damage paper and other substrates, which is why you need to have primed canvases or primed paper. But this paper is just ready to use with oil. So it's got kind of a linen texture to it. And then just a couple of other little things. I do still from time to time enjoy using die cutters. And this floral set from Sizzix appealed to me. And then I've not bought a magazine in years, but I wanted to get hold of a glossy magazine for doing image transfer with my gel plate. So I'd been along to the local newsagents and I picked up this artist magazine. So I enjoy having a read of that. And then hopefully it's glossy enough for being able to do the gel plate image transfer. And then finally Bromley sent me this in the post, and it's a really useful magazine showing all of the colour ranges which they stock from some of the main supplies. So Winsor & Newton, Sennelier, Daniel Smith, Schminker, And then the same for, well, that was watercolours, then the same for oils, pens, pastels. So it's quite useful to see everything in one place. Oil paint then is primarily made from pigment and oil. And these pigment sticks or oil sticks have pretty much the same properties as oil paint, except that they have the addition of some wax, which helps give them their form. And I just absolutely love the idea of being able to hold oil paint in your hand and not need to use a paintbrush. What I'm hoping is that I can use these much like I do oil pastels for adding details and texture to mixed media paintings. The big difference with these being that these, like oil paint, will eventually dry out, whereas oil pastels never really dry out. So what I'm going to do is tape off a couple of sections on a sheet of the oil paper and kind of swatch some of the oil sticks into like a painting. I'm going to wear gloves for working with them because I think they can get pretty messy. So this is one I opened already, that's why it's upside down. I've seen a couple of videos produced by R&F and they recommend not keeping the oil sticks back in these tubes because as the oil sticks dry, they might stick to the inside of the tube. But I've also seen some artists store them in here, so I probably won't, just for convenience sake. Because these sticks are basically oil paint in stick form, and like I said, they do dry out, the sticks themselves dry with a coating on them, which you have to cut off. So you can see here where some of the dried outer coating has torn off. I'm just going to use a sharp palette knife to take the skin off. So it's a fairly thin layer, but you are going to have some wastage when you use them. You might also be able to just wipe the outside off with a kitchen roll depending on how soft they are. I'll just try that next. Yeah, so on this softer, take some more of this off. I'm able to get this, you can see the kind of outer layer there. I think probably on these softer ones you can get away with doing it like this. Maybe on the Sennelier ones it might not work so well. I'll take a look. There we go. So there's no question these are going to be a super messy medium, but that's not something that's ever really bothered me. So I'll just take a look at what's on the wrappers. So we're told that this is linseed oil and natural waxes, and then the pigment. So PB28 and PBR7. This is a blue ochre. These sticks and also the Sennelier sticks are both 38 millilitres, but the oil bars are, I think they're 50 millilitres. Yeah, 50 ml. You can get larger sizes though. The only smaller sizes I've seen are these half sticks by R&F. I think they do 3 different sets, each with 3 different colours in. So what's this? Scarlet Extra Pale. That's a pretty fresh one, there's almost no skin on that at all. I'll just open a couple from the other brands and then have a play with them. The eBay seller who sent me these actually sent me more than were advertised because they said that they fitted in the box better, so that was really, really sweet of them. I've no idea how old these Winsor & Newton ones are. So they seem to have a quite a bit thicker, like, outer skin. And I don't know if that's age or just how they were produced anyway. I've done a terrible job of that one. And then one of the Sennelier ones. This is light quinacridone magenta. I'm just looking to see if there was any light fast information on the R&F ones. They do differ in their transparency. And these ones are made in the USA. I can't see light fast information on them, but I'll take a look online after this. The Sennelier ones, they do have the light fast stars on. I'm not going to worry too much about transferring different colours onto different sticks because I think it is going to be a complete messy disaster. And that's how it's going to end up anyway. Oh yeah, I was going to try and wipe it off with kitchen roll, wasn't I? Oops. I know there's going to be some people out there just cringing at how hideously messy this is. I've got some sticks to play with. Let's see how we get on. Ooh, so the softest ones, this is an R&F one. It goes on so creamily. I'd probably compare it to, probably the closest thing is oil pastels. I'd say it's like the softest oil pastel you can get, so some of Sennelier's oil pastels, but without the kind of inconsistency of the softest Senneliers. I think often with the softest Sennelier oil pastels, you kind of get lumps coming off them as well. But this has kind of got a firmness about the whole stick. But kind of a soft oiliness about them as well. So it's going to come off my gloves a bit. Yeah, that is totally blendable and easy to move around the paper surface. I'll just see if the other R&F, or the other R&Fs that I've got out are like that. Oh yeah, that is really smooth. It's almost like wet. I think as well temperature will affect these because of the wax in them. So the more you work with them and the more friction occurs, the softer they'll get. It's a nice colour. I've just grabbed one of my acrylic brushes. You are going to be able to paint with them quite easily as well. I didn't particularly buy them with the intention of doing much painting, but just so you know that that's a possibility. In fact, let's just see if we can pick up paint directly from the stick. Yeah, they're soft enough to be able to do that. I've just grabbed some empty yogurt pots from my recycling bin. I'll pop a bit of Gamsol in. So that cleans the brush fine, and then you can see that dilutes the oil stick fine as well. So let's take a look at the Sennelier. So this feels, it is harder, but it is still nice to work with. More of the oil stick is coming off onto the paper. I'm getting a thicker layer of it. Yeah, it's not quite as kind of easy to move around as the R&F. But the two different brands blend into each other. I'll just try out the blending stick, like medium. So that's got a skin on it as well. There we go. So that just kind of liquefies the oil stick a bit. As I said, that's just the medium that the pigment's suspended in. And it's made the Sennelier oil stick as workable as the R&F one was. So then I'll try the Winsor & Newton oil bar. So this is very thick and gloopy. As I say, I don't know how much of the thickness and gloopiness is from the fact that they're old, but seeing as these aren't produced anymore, I'm not too worried about kind of portraying them accurately to what's being produced now, because there isn't anything being produced now. So I'll just put a bit of the blending stick and yeah, that loosens it up. Okay, so the other thing to look at with the thicker, darker colours, how do the lighter colours go over the top? So they go over pretty well, actually. I haven't got any master plan here, by the way, I'm just mucking around. Gosh, they're so nice to play with. So much fun. Now obviously the more blending stick you've got in there, you're going to increase the length of time that it takes to dry. And I think without adding any blending medium, the Sennelier sticks dry quite a bit faster than the R&F sticks. And I guess the oil bars would dry even faster, except that because they're so thick, they probably lay down much more thickly. So they might take longer to dry out for that reason, that you've got a thicker layer. One thing you can do as well, apparently, is just like you can with oil paint, you can mix it with a wax medium, which will thicken up the texture of the paint and also decrease the drying time. So I'm just going to splodge some on. That's a pretty yucky colour. So yeah, you've got a lot more texture there. I probably didn't do the right ratio. I think I probably had too much wax to paint there. Probably better off with no more than 50-50. I think because you've got quite a bit of working time, you can actually take it back to the paper. I've got these old paper lolly sticks from somewhere. Oops. And then obviously if you're not keen on it, start it all again. So you can see that the colours that are laid down first are the ones that stain the paper. I'll figure out something to do with that panel later. But for now, I just want to swatch some of the other colours. I'll do the R&F ones, I think, first. I'm not going to add any medium in this time. I just want to play with them as they are. This is Green Earth. So it looks like quite a transparent one. So this is semi-transparent. And this is a completely transparent one. Oh, so rich and lovely, these colours. So this is the blue ochre, which I've already used from that set. Let's see what the blue ochre and the pink brown, how they mix. That's nice. And then the last one in this set is unbleached titanium, which is opaque. So I'm mixing the semi-transparent blue ochre with the opaque unbleached titanium. So yeah, the R&F ones are very liquidy and kind of almost slip around the page. What I might do is clean this one off and then go over the top with just the Sennelier ones and see how they interact with each other. Yeah, it's definitely no less enjoyable working with the firmer Sennelier ones. Saying that most of these are opaque, with the greeny blue one being opaque transparent. So I guess you can see the difference between the ones that are mainly opaque and the ones that are mainly transparent. You can kind of see the oil sheen on the R&F ones more. Those were enormous fun, and I think I'm going to really enjoy oil sticks. I've now taken all the packaging off the oil sticks, and I found this tub for them, which I had going spare. And that was probably the messiest thing I've ever done, ever. So I'm going to swatch them out now. I think all I'm going to do is just swatch similar colours together from the different brands so that I've got a quick reference chart. But as I go along, I'll write next to them what they are. I'm sure I'll be back soon to do an actual picture with these. Thanks ever so much for watching. Bye!